Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Chat with Brandy. This is episode number 24. This is a show where we talk business and personal finance, taxes, how to make money doing what you love. I am your host, tax preparer and bookkeeper, Brandy Miron, and this is my very special guest, Dawn Taylor of The Taylor Way. I'm so excited to have her on today.
Thank you.
She is my friend, she is my business coach and my mentor, and she is here to basically give you guys a little free coaching. So let's get into it. Dawn, introduce yourself, what you do.
So my name is Dawn Taylor, and I am the ass kicker hope giver of The Taylor Way, and I do a really interesting mix of personal, business, and trauma coaching. So people often ask how that all works, but people that have had a lot of trauma in their lives typically become control freaks because their control was taken away at some point, right? And so when that happens, they either become upper management, we've all had this boss, or they become entrepreneurs and and end up self-sabotaging a lot and not actually believing in themselves, and they struggle a lot in business because of that. And so I do a really interesting mix of all of those so I can help someone with their personal, their business, or right down into the deep traumas of their lives.
Yeah, so when I first, just a personal anecdote for myself. So when I first met Dawn, a lot of it was, to do with the control and the fear of the loss of control in my business, which, of course, I was like, in my business. Oh, Corey just gave us a thumbs down, so it looks like we're going, though. So I'm going to keep on rolling.
Do we need to stop?
I think we're okay. I think it should be recording. I think we're good. Okay, so the biggest thing for sure was the control of my time. So my time management was a big reason that I came to you. Mm-hmm. And just feeling like the amount of stress that I was feeling like I had to wear 100 hats in my own business. Yeah. And again, that comes down to control. So first of all, I kind of want to get into obviously Dawn could talk to you guys about a million different things, but the thing I really want to boil down today while I have her is the time management tips. Mm-hmm. I know the very first session I had with Dawn, she was like, you need to start tracking your time. And that was a huge game changer for me, just like even in that first couple days, seeing where I was putting my time when I really didn't think. I thought that I was being very productive with every minute of my day, but realizing, you're wasting time scrolling through Instagram or just laying around doing nothing with your time, right? Like those kinds of things you can only figure out when you're tracking. It's a lot like taking care of your financial life as well, right?
Oh, so completely.
Okay, so give me your top 3 tips for time management.
Number 1 is always to do a time audit. And so that's what I had talked to you about, is actually document your time. A lot of industries, a lot of professionals, they track their time in 3, 5, or 7 minute increments. Do that. Do that with your time. Create a spreadsheet for yourself, document it in your phone, some things where you know where your time is going. Because we typically tend to waste more time on white space, those moments where you just kind of like zone and you don't know where 5 or 10 or 15 minutes just went. The extra time you sit on a toilet because you're on Instagram or Facebook, as bad as that sounds.
So true though. Yeah.
But we all do it, right? The extra time we take getting ready for bed at the end of the day, like how many times? For me, it was
driving. Like all the time I was spending driving. When that could have been a phone call. That could have been an email, right?
100%. And that is where so many people lose their time. Mm-hmm. And I've had people find up to 47 additional hours in a week.
Wow.
Just doing a time audit to go, oh my goodness, I am wasting all this time on meal prep. I'm wasting all this time. And I'm not saying meal prep is bad. It's actually very good. But maybe you make 3 meals and make multiples instead of doing 7, right? Different ones. It's just little hacks and little tips on how to do that. Another tip is if you are doing a lot of meetings, do them back to back. Back to back them. Don't spread them out with like a half hour in between here and a half hour extra there and a half hour extra there. Those add up. Those add up horribly. And if you don't actually need that extra time in between to do paperwork or document anything or for confidentiality reasons or anything else, put them back to back. Right? You can go sit in a coffee shop. You can have people come to you. You don't always have to go to people. Because guess what? Not many people are good at managing their time. So they will come to you. Right? They'll have no issue with that. And so when you can do that, when you can allow them to come to you and you can back to back them, set alarms on things, right, in those meetings so that you know when it's supposed to be done, you know when that hour is up, all of a sudden you start to buy back your time again. And a third tip is say no.
That's tough.
Right? Say no to things. You don't have to do every single event. You don't have to do every single charity thing. You don't have to do every single date out with friends. You don't.
She's literally just talking to me right now.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but you don't, right? This last year, I was in a massive push. I was putting out a book. I was building a business. I was hiring new staff. Like, I had a ton of stuff going on. And I sat down and looked through my calendar and I was like, okay, what can I give my time to? Mm-hmm. How many different things can I actually give my time to? And I cut everything. I cut a ton of stuff. And the people in my life that were like, wow, you have a big project on the go, way to go. Like, we're supportive of that. I had friends go grocery shopping on a date with me. And that's something I recommend, right? Go to Costco date, eat some samples, laugh, walk your way around, show each other what you buy. Like, you can have an amazing friend date doing that.
Yeah, good point.
Right?
Yeah.
And we don't think of those things. You can walk around a grocery store eating a potato salad from the deli, laughing while drinking your Starbucks and having a really good time. Well, guess what? That's an hour that you have to spend anyways doing this activity. Why not have fun with a friend doing it?
Totally.
And maybe
agree.
learn a new recipe.
Yeah, so the 3 tips again, time audit. So the time tracking, I highly recommend it as well. Saying no to things that, and I mean, if we're looking at this from a business perspective, certainly looking at it and going, is this bringing me revenue, or is this actually increasing something in my business, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one, time batching, right? So she gave the example of putting all your meetings together, but time batching can be useful in so many different things. Like even when you were saying meal prep, instead of spending 2 hours a day on meal prep and breaking up your day that way, can you amalgamate it to like every Sunday kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Lots of ideas around there. So next question, what do you recommend for entrepreneurs who have a hard time letting go and delegating?
You know what? I think it comes down to a safety level. So what I mean by that is your roles and responsibilities within your company. There are certain things you can easily let go of. Right? There's certain things that it's like, do you need to take your mail to the mailbox? No, that you could probably let somebody else do. Do you need to clean your own toilets? No, you probably could let somebody else do that.
Yes.
Right? But if you can sit down, especially if it's something that's tied to any sort of trauma or control issue from your past, start with like the little silly, super tiny things. Slowly start releasing those and build it like a muscle to where you start to trust the people that you're handing these tasks over to. I had a new assistant start, for example, about a month and a half ago, and she came into like a moving freight train. This poor girl, like she showed up for her first day of work, and it was just like, and go! And she was like, what is even happening around me? I didn't trust her with giant stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't just hand that over on the first day.
Baby steps.
But I'd hand her something small that I was like, okay, this I can hand her, and I know I can check back and make sure she's doing a good job of it. When she's done that 2 or 3 times, then I know I can just give it to her and she's going to maintain that level of service. Yeah. Right?
And if you feel like, because I've definitely been there, if you feel like you can't delegate business stuff, delegate the home stuff, like you said.
Oh, absolutely.
Start with having someone come in and clean your toilets. Start with someone coming in and maybe picking up your kids from school. Like go with the more comfy stuff first and work your way up to it if that's what it takes.
Oh, 100%. And you can also do time sensitive things, right? So you can look at all of the tasks you do in a day, which ones are attached to, if this one gets screwed up, this one's going to cost me a ton of money. Right?
Or your integrity.
Or your integrity, or it's going to like harm the name of your company. Okay, those you don't hand over to a new assistant on the first week.
Right.
Right? This one, you know what, if she totally screws it up, or if it doesn't get done well, or if it doesn't get done on time, it's a pain in my butt, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Right? And so I often recommend, and I've done it with a lot of clients, where task out your day on sticky notes. So answering emails, returning a phone call, booking an appointment, right? Anything and everything that you do in a day. put it on a sticky note, and then put it out on a big wall and be like, okay, which are the ones that I literally can only do?
Okay.
Like, I can only go to the bathroom. That goes on a me pile, right? I can only coach my clients. That's a me thing.
True.
Right? So now, which ones do I really not need to do that aren't that important? Somebody else can do the filing. Somebody else can return certain emails. Somebody else can make sure that the office is cleaned before someone is coming in for their next session. I don't have to be doing those things.
That's a great idea to do that visual.
Because it gives you, it gives you this whole visual of it, and you can just do it on the wall, you can do it on the back of a door, on a patio window. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just actually physically seeing the million things you do in a day or a week or a month, and going, okay, these are like level 1, right? Yeah. Like, you have to learn to crawl before you can walk, right? We're going to give you these ones, and we're going to up it to this level, and we're going to just keep going with it until it's like, okay, now I trust you enough that you can do the big tasks. Because to jump right in when you have control issues and be like, oh, okay, take over something major and important, it doesn't work, and then people feel like they're failing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's like the first thought that comes to mind when you say the word delegation or something. It's like handing the whole business over to someone, and that's not the case. Not the case.
All the control freaks unite.
What are
the gates?
What are some red flags for burnout that you see? That maybe someone doesn't know they're burning out, but you see them and you go, yeah, that's burnout.
Yeah. When people stop eating meals.
Yeah.
When people start looking disheveled. So if it's someone you see all the time. So here's a few examples. Again, I often use myself as an example because I've been there, done that. Yeah. Right? For myself, if you ever see me without mascara, hilariously, that's one of the things that if you ever see me without mascara, ask how my mental health is doing.
Red flag.
Because it is a giant red flag. Like, it's a big, like, what is going on in that girl's brain right now? If my kitchen becomes a mess, if there's certain areas of my life that are getting chaotic, if I'm all of a sudden not getting up at the same time every day, if I start fumbling my words a lot, if I start to become late for things, because I'm never late. Like, I am the queen of punctuality. So if all of a sudden I'm running late and not caring, that becomes a really big deal. If I'm starting to eat out too often. So even on the way here, right? Like I said, this big push this last year, and it all came to last Sunday when everything kind of went and done. Yes. And I spent the 2 days after, getting my life put back together again. But one of the things that has gone on since is I'm feeling my body's just really tired. And so I phoned a few of my people in my life that I have. So I recommend have a list. Have a list of like 2 or 3 people in your life that you trust can be really brutally honest with you. That can go, no, you're not actually doing as good as you think right now, or no, you're actually really tired and you need that extra nap in a day. What's going on? And I contacted a few of them and I was like, I think I might be there. And they're like, yeah, you totally are. But you're catching it really early right now.
Yeah. That's the key, I feel like.
Right?
Yeah.
They're like, you're catching it really early. You're catching it before you actually burn out or before you get sick or before any of those things happen. And that's what we need to have happen, right? And so when you can look at that, one thing I do often with clients is I say, okay, in burnout, where are you at? What time are you waking up in the morning? What are you wearing? What do you look like? Where are your finances? Where are you eating? Where are you sleeping? What are you watching? Like, what does a day in the life of you look like? Go through your calendar and be like, okay, this is what my day looks like when I'm burning out. Okay, when you're at your like optimum peak performance, what does a day in the life of you look like? And when you can actually write it out, it's interesting. Again, I talk about whiteboards. I have a big giant whiteboard in my office, and I'll make them actually do like 2 lists. And I'm like, okay, so where is the in-between state in between those two? That can be your red flags.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm about to hit that. Something in my life needs to give. What am I going to shift? What am I going to change? And when you can see it in a big visual, it makes such a difference for people's brains.
I agree. Well, and being able to just recognize those signs before you hit rock bottom and the business gives out or whatever happens, right? Can you tell us a specific story about yourself or a client that went from kind of a ball of stress, hot mess, to a thriving business owner?
Oh, me? I'll keep my clients a little confidential because they
Well, of
might
course.
actually be watching
Yes.
this. So even myself, I have, oh my gosh, I've had such a crazy, insane career in my life and done some really insane things. But at one point, I had a full-time job. I was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for a road building company. And then I also owned a restaurant. Yeah, I know. It was insane. Like, it was way too much. It was absolutely insane, and it was totally chaotic. And I burnt out, and I burnt out hard. And we had booked a trip with my brother-in-law. We were taking him on this big birthday vacation when he hit 13. We hit the cruise ship. I woke up 5 days later.
Yeah.
I came out maybe once a day for some food, and that was it. And I put people in charge of everything while I was gone. We were gone for 3 weeks. And when I came off that cruise ship, I seriously do not remember 1 second of that entire cruise.
Wow.
Which is the biggest waste of money, by the way.
Totally, yeah.
And time. And my husband looked at me and he goes, you were getting up at like noon or 2, and you were back in the room sleeping by 5.
Yeah, that's...
Every single day, and you'd like were zombied through the rest, and you'd have something to eat, and then you just like go back and sleep again, and you were like a dead person.
Yeah.
Right? And I came back from that and sat down and went, okay, something's gotta give, because I can't do that. I just cost us a ton of money. I cost us a ton of time. I ruined parts of a vacation for something that was supposed to be so special and sacred in our family that I didn't take care of myself enough for. Right? And so for me, I start to get like these little feelings in my throat. I start to get like just, you know what I mean? Like when you're glands and you're like, something could be going on there. And you're like, no, I'm fine. I'm going to push another 15-hour day. I now pay attention to that. And so when I came back from that, I sat down and I looked at the books and I was like, okay, need to hire a manager, right? I need to hire someone really competent at the restaurant. I need to like budget my time for that different. I need to manage that different. I needed to give up a lot of stuff in my days.
Yeah, it's looking at priorities, right? And again,
100%.
we can't get more time than we have, so...
No.
Yeah.
And when you burn out, this is what people don't realize. They're like, no, it's okay. I'll just burn out and then I'll recover and I'll be fine. I'll take a vacation, right? I'll just take a vacation. The problem is that when you burn out once, you go there so much faster the second time and then even faster the third to get to a point where you can burn out so hard so fast. And people don't get that. They don't get that. And it's something I've had to learn the hard way. I can honestly say I haven't burned out now in a few years to that point. But there was like about 3 or 4 years ago again where I did it again. I did it again to myself. And I took a client on a Sunday, which is my sacred day that I don't see clients. And it was like, oh, but they need me on a Sunday. It's okay. It's fine. And it was some trauma work. And then it was every Sunday. And then it was like, oh, well, I already have one on Sunday, so I may as well just add a second. It's just another hour. This went on and on and on, and all of a sudden I hit mid-December, and my husband had to actually cancel clients for me because I burnt out so hard again. I couldn't even form coherent sentences.
Yeah.
Which really doesn't work in
It's
my
not helping
business.
anybody. Yeah, it's not,
right?
yeah.
But when we looked at my calendar, we realized that I do it every fall. And that's one of my triggers, right? Is every fall, I go into this mode of like, but I can do all of the things. And I can handle all of it.
Interesting.
And it's easy, right? But this is part of the time tracking, is looking back at your patterns over the years to go, okay, when is my tired time? When is my burnout time? When are my projects coming through to completion where I probably do need to rest for a little bit before I keep going, right? So now knowing that is what allows me to be so successful with my time and to be able to work the way I do is I knew that the emotional crazy of October for me was going to be a lot. So I bumped my September down to be one of my slowest months I've had in years so that I had that mental space to be able to handle my October.
And how did that work out, do you think?
Amazing.
Yeah, you didn't burn out.
No.
So
I didn't burn out, and it's the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Then in October, knowing this big date was coming, and there was this big party, and there was all these things going on, and total stress around the vulnerability of the book in the first place, right? I knew that it was going to be hard on my body right after, and everybody was like, oh, girl, you're going to get sick that next week. You're going to crash. And I was like, No, I'm actually going to fight it.
We're on the Tuesday the following that book launch, by the way, today.
Right?
Yes.
Well, we're like,
She's alive.
a
She's
week
here
and a
with
half.
me.
A week and a half
Yes,
later,
yes,
right?
true, yes.
Still alive.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten sick, but I've realized my body is very tired right now.
Yeah.
So I have canceled some things. I was supposed to be at networking events yesterday and today that I said no to.
And that's, again, setting boundaries.
Right? I
Yeah.
canceled and I had a nap instead.
Yeah.
Because I was like, no, my body needs this right now, and I'm actually really going to pay attention so that I can finish with a bang and finish strong this year instead of getting sick.
Yeah. Dawn has worked with me personally in coaching a lot around setting boundaries, not only in business, but my personal life. And that's what it comes down to. Like earlier when she said saying no, like that's setting a boundary for yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
And she said, well, I broke my rule of not seeing clients on Sundays. She set that boundary and broke it, and look where it got her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for someone to tell you the truth, Dawn will tell you the truth about your boundaries and where you're allowing people to step on you, because it's true. The other really cool thing that Dawn does,
Yes, picker.
and I just really wanted to get like the littlest taste of this because I just think it's the coolest thing, is Dawn works a lot with personality types. So one of the first things that she'll do with you as a client is kind of go through what, is it like, do you call it personality type?
No, I actually hate personality
Sorry,
types.
it's not a personality type at all.
No, it's okay. 6 basic human needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she goes through these needs and how they stack up for you. So can you give us like just the tiniest overview of those different types and how they would relate to time and stress management?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So 6 basic human needs. We all need all 6 of them met. Everyone always goes, oh, I think I'm more than one. Yes, you're all 6. We all need all 6 of them met. But whatever your top 2 are, become your decision makers. That's where all your decisions are made. That's where you typically spend your headspace. So when we're looking at them, think about when something meets 3 or more of your needs, it becomes an addiction. When it meets all 6, it owns your soul. So first one is certainty. Certainty is a need for control, structure, right? Let's use eating out as the metaphor for this.
Yeah, okay.
Certainty is the person that goes to the same restaurant over and over and over and orders the exact same thing every single time.
Yeah.
That's where they're comfortable. They don't want to try anything different.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like, I want my wings and my fries and that's it from that restaurant. Done. Then you have variety. Variety is a person that wants to try all the things on the menu and all the different foods and go to all the different restaurants, and they can hardly handle ordering one meal because they really, really want 3, so they end up ordering appies or wanting to like...
Someone's at the door.
Real life, right? Or there's struggles around that, right? Where they're just like, I want to eat all of the food at all of the places, right? This girl, right? I'm the girl who's like, I'll just order 3 meals, then take 2 home, and I don't have to cook for the next 3 days, right? Because I love variety. Your third is significance. So I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but these are the people that often do CrossFit or vegans, right? Or vegans. Their significance. They need to feel seen. They need to feel heard. They need to feel understood, right?
Okay.
The problem is it often comes across as ego, but this is the person who will look at the menu and they're like, oh, yeah, no, I can't eat the lasagna. I eat gluten-free. And you're like, why did you even say that? Just pick something that has no gluten.
Yes.
We know these people. We love them. We've probably been them at some point, but we know these people. Your fourth is love and connection. This is the person that wants to order a meal and split it with you, and they want to share, and let's just get a bunch of appies and all just eat together, and hey, can I taste yours? And right? This is the person who really cares. They're the one who sets up the date in the first place because they're like, I just miss you, and I love you, and I want to connect to you. Your fifth is growth. This person wants to try something new, try a new restaurant. They want to learn how something was made. They're willing to go to a cooking class where they have to pay money to cook their own food, to do their own dishes, just to learn how to make it. Not this girl's thing. I'm like, really? I'm going to pay you to cook dinner? Like, wouldn't I just go to a restaurant where someone else could cook? And your last is contribution. So contribution is the overwhelming need to give. It's the overwhelming need to give back. And so often this will be the person that picks up the bill. Okay? So now when you look at things in terms of time, you want to know why people are workaholics? Is because their business meets 3 or more of these needs. They have certainty. when they go to work, what they do at work, what their job is, what their title is. They have variety. Look at all of the people and all of the things and all of the to-do list tasks. Yeah. They have significance. Look at their fancy parking spot or their fancy title or their fancy business card, right? They're somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if they're leading a team. It gives them love and connection. They're surrounded by people in the office that are asking how their weekend was. How was your day? How are you doing? We're going to celebrate everyone's birthdays and do Friday lunches and Wednesday wing nights and all these things. There's typically growth. You're learning something new in your business, right? And then contribution, because heaven forbid you're helping a client or a customer and then you're going to give back by training somebody. Your job now owns your soul, which is why you struggle with managing boundaries on it and the time attached to it. Because those needs
makes sense.
Right? Those needs are being met by your job, not your home life, not other healthier things.
Right.
Right?
So there's no sense of balance there.
None.
Yeah.
It's why your friendships can take over. It's why charitable events, and I'm the biggest charity junkie. I'm going to one tonight. But it's why these things take over. Right? Why we want to go to all these things is because these networking events or these things that we're spending all of our time doing all of a sudden become this addiction to us, and it's something that owns our soul, which is why we struggle so hard to say no.
Absolutely.
And to not give it all the time we have.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So last 3 questions. Okay. What has been your best financial investment in your business?
Me.
So your own training, your own mental health, that kind of stuff. Okay, love it.
I have over 800 hours of training and certifications. I am a growth junkie.
Wouldn't have been cheap either.
No.
Yeah.
No, not cheap at all. I'm an absolute growth junkie. But if I'm not growing, I can't help my clients grow. And if my mental, emotional, physical, financial, spiritual health isn't solid, how can I be that support for other people?
100%. Yeah, for sure. What about your worst financial investment in business?
1 million networking events.
Okay.
And so what I mean by that is when I didn't totally understand my avatar and who my ideal client was and who I was really trying to go after, it was the net effect, right? Where it's like, I'm going to just go out there and I'm going to like tickle everybody and everything at all of the different events, and I'm just going to be like...
maybe that's why it was a waste of time. You were tickling people.
Right? No, I just tickled you instead of talking to you. But you know what I mean, right? Like, I'm going to just go and it's like... You almost feel like you have a money gun and you're just like shooting business cards around and no one's really connecting, no one's really talking. And then you're like, okay, see them in a month or 2 months or 3 months. And so many people do that instead of going, okay, who is my actual client?
Yes.
Where do I
find them?
Go after? And then where do I find them and how do I now build a relationship with them instead? And so I personally have sat down and spent a lot of time on that, but I've seen people that do like 15 to 20 networking events in a week at times.
Wow.
And when you're looking at like $25 to $50 a time, like it's
not to mention the time involved.
Oh,
like, yes.
What is your money, like what is your time worth to you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a fun one. Do you have any books, podcasts, or courses that you would recommend on this subject matter? So we talked a little bit about this. So she just launched a book. Let's see it here. You can get it on Amazon. I'll drop the link in the comments later. I ordered this and received it on Sunday, and I read it that day. Like, I'm not kidding at all. It was so good and full of advice, like she is, and full of her story, which is unbelievable. And like we didn't even touch on that today, but she's had an incredible life.
Crazy. It's been crazy.
It's been a crazy life. Yeah. So it's worth it just to read about that if you like drama.
Right.
But like, I mean, just full of tips and insights as well. So lastly, where can we find you online?
So courses, all these things. I am always working with clients one-on-one.
Yes.
So, or with couples, business partners, that sort of thing. I also, if you are an owner of a company, one of the things that I've been doing a lot of lately is going into companies and teaching the 6 basic human needs. And then how to adjust your sales processes and procedures around those to create raving fan clients instead of just happy clients, right? But how do you create raving fan ones where you, in a positive way, like,
that are
you
addicted
become
to you.
an addiction. Yeah. You become that person that they just can't help but fall in love with and want to be around because they give you the most amazing experience ever, right? And based on those 6 needs, So I am doing quite a few of those with like full days in offices right now and helping with staffing and management and leadership in that, but also with like the sales teams. How do you actually do that? I also do keynote speaking workshops on everything from time management to communication, all kinds of stuff. You can check all that out on my website at thetaylorway.ca. And one of the other things that I offer that I'm so proud of is I have a 10-week course called Transformation Blueprint, and it's for anyone wanting to hit a goal. So we just finished another group last night, and there were 6, I think, in that one. And they went from starting with like, this is my huge, massive financial goal, emotional goal, right? I had people wanting to fix their marriages. I had people wanting to decide if they were staying in their relationships. I had people wanting to double their income, people wanting to expand their companies. It doesn't matter. Whatever your goal is, I've had people lose weight on it. It's any goal you want through to completion in 10 weeks. And it goes through logistics, strategies, and how you're going to do it. There's tons of one-on-one time with me where we do massive like mindset shift stuff and like the crazy rules we have on ourselves and our limiting beliefs. Scheduling, communication, who your ideal client avatar is, even if it's you as your ideal client, and that's why you're not behaving very well with yourself, right? Through to completion, and I have 3 new start dates coming in the new year, so.
Exciting. So you can find all that on her website. I'll also link her Instagram and her Facebook. And thank you so much, Dawn, for coming on today. It's been such a pleasure, and I know that you guys will find a lot of value, and it's just been a great interview, and it's been really interesting for me, and I know it will be for you guys too. So thanks again, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.